This is the Parkzone Stinson Reliant. Well, pretty much. I bought this used and it's been changed. Well, the power system had already been changed in it, and the receiver, well, might have come plug and play, but anyway. It's not got the motor that was originally sold with it in it. It's got a high-tech motor and a more powerful, high-tech motor and a propeller, a different propeller on. I changed the undercarriage. I put Parkzone Sport Cub S2 wheels on it because they work very well off grass. I also installed the flaps. The flaps were optional, and the previous owner hadn't installed them. I've got the EFC 721 camera on it in deference to the fact that it's a fairly lightweight plane and a little tricky balance-wise anyway, so I didn't particularly want to put the drone view on the tail because the drone view is heavier. I'm just trying to see where that camera's pointing. I don't know, you can never quite tell with this camera where it's pointing. Okay, let's see if we can start that camera recording. Yes, that appears to say it's recording now. A little bit of wind getting up now, at least mainly from the west, which is probably the preferred location for wind here.
Throttle cut off. Throttle cut on.
A big propeller with a powerful motor, so definitely one you want to be, well, you always want to be very sure you're not going to hit yourself with a propeller. But this one, more than most. I do not know why the ESC emits that periodic beep. It's a little worrying, but it's always done it ever since I had it, and I can't figure out why. And it seems to fly okay. Famous last words, but I have flown it quite a number of times before. This is by no means a maiden. I bought it last year. I've flown it a number of times, so we'll see. We'll put a little bit of flap on, maybe. Flaps are probably not necessary.
Take off flaps.
He's a bit... I hope I've got the balance. I've got the battery pretty far forward now, especially because we've got the camera on the tail, and I don't want him too tail heavy. And he's a little bit more sensitive to balance than some planes, like more so, say, than the Parkzone Cub S2.
Throttle cut off.
And we're facing into the wind here. Well, uneventful takeoff for sure.
Flaps up.
Take the flaps up. So dear, we might be getting a little bit of mist now. I didn't think there was any mist when I came, but it looked like there was a little bit of mist there interrupting my view. This guy in this configuration actually has more power than he was meant to have. I do not tend to use it much though, because I'm not much of a speed demon. But he's certainly got, that wasn't even full throttle, that was only about 2/3 throttle. He's got more power than I think he needs. I don't particularly know why someone put this more powerful motor in, really. They put it, I don't know exactly, I don't remember what it is, but it's a high-tech motor. It's not the motor that came with this. Or maybe you could buy it as an ARF, I don't know. Who knows? Yeah, well, that didn't work too well, did it? That was not quite what I was trying to do. It wasn't disastrous, but it wasn't what I was trying to do. Like most planes, he flies more docilely and controllably if you get the balance reasonably far forward. Well, the balance right now between the battery being forward and the camera being on the tail, the balance is pretty much spot on where I marked what the recommended balance was. Yeah, can't really do that very well with this guy. He doesn't roll quite the way I want him to. And if I knew better what I was doing, I could probably do something about it, but I'm trying to roll him, and He's just not doing the roll the way I want. He rolls, but he loses direction as he rolls. In a way, I'm trying to roll him while keeping him in the same direction, and he's rolling, he's moving off. With his balance reasonably far forward, he flies in a fairly cub-like fashion, if not exactly like a cub. The odd thing is he doesn't seem to have massive stability in roll. He rocks a bit. But then when you want him to roll, he doesn't roll very snappily, so I don't know quite what's up with that. Oh, that's actually downwind, admittedly. Well, mind you, it's not downwind when you come back up the top, because then you're upwind. When you invert. When you do a loop and invert there, you're upwind. Yes, well, see, that was an attempt at a roll, and it was horrible. And that was just ailerons. I didn't put any rudder into that. Maybe I should have put contra rudder into it, I don't know. I put, and I ended up with like some sort of horrible, ugly spiral sort of thing. So obviously, to get a neat roll, this plane requires more coordination than I have. I'm thinking perhaps contra rudder, I don't know, because I can't get a neat roll out of him.
Time remaining, 3 minutes.
No, that doesn't work. That just makes him stall. I guess it's aileron. You've probably got to change your ailerons as you roll, because he rolls too slowly. Bird. Is it a bird? Yes, it is a bird. I don't know. I'm finding it a little, I mean, he's flyable, but some of the things I'm trying to make him do, I'm just finding it hard to make him do. He doesn't want to do them.
Time remaining, 2 minutes.
It is a bit windy, but I don't think it's anything much to do with the wind. He's got... that was a teeny bit better, but it still wasn't very satisfactory. Oh. Shit, I'm sorry, I beg your pardon. I've used most of my time. I guess I should bring him in. I don't know. I don't know whether that's really true, but... I don't know whether that's entirely true, but I've got less than 2 minutes left according to the timer I set for him. He's flying on a 2200 milliamp hour 2-cell. One of those Gen 000 ones. I see... I was looking, saw those for sale again the other day for 25, 26 bucks. I'm almost thinking I might buy some more because they seem quite nice. I guess I either didn't mix in down elevator or didn't mix in enough, because he definitely went up quite a bit there when I gave him the flaps. At least we're landing upwind here. Famous last words. Mostly. The wind wanders a little bit now and then, but mostly that's just a glide. Oh, and we turned him over. Ta-da.
Throttle cut on.
I think I had that problem before, and I should have remembered. I probably needed to fly him in under power and keep the nose up more.
Flaps up.
I needed to fly him in under power and keep the nose up, I imagine, to stop him. He's not...
Throttle cut off.
got lots of power.
Throttle cut off.
It looks like whoever programmed him put the brake on the propeller, on the SC. Yeah, I don't...
Throttle cut on.
That's not me. I don't generally put the brake on the SCs on my fixed wing planes. But someone has clearly either deliberately or accidentally. This clearly has a brake on. I don't know. Opinions differ as to whether that's a good idea or not. I generally prefer to let the propeller freewheel. And it was, even though the brake is on, it was still turning somewhat. Anyway, I noticed because I was gliding him in there. I probably shouldn't have glided him in. I mean, it didn't do any massive harm, but he did nose over when I glided him in. Okay, so let's put the EFC camera off now. Yep. Well, apart from the fact we rather unfortunately flipped him on landing,
Throttle cut off. Throttle cut on.
he, which I don't think really did any great harm. Although this, you have to watch, because these rear tail surfaces are just thin foam. They are quite, in fact, that's been broken off the top of that rudder. Oh well, not at all a bad little plane. We'll practice a better landing with him. I think I already did that, actually. I think I already went through this fact that he does tend to tip over on landing, and you need to fly him in with his nose up and a little bit of power to try and stop him tipping over. It's a bit tricky, but I think I did succeed at some point now that I think about it. But you certainly got to be conscious. I'd forgotten I wasn't at all conscious. Now I just glided him in, and it didn't work in as much as he just turned over. Anyway, Parkzone Stinson Reliant. Nice looking plane as well. The flight there was 6 minutes 15 seconds with this Gen 000 2200 milliamp hour battery, and we're at 11.6, 3.86, 3.86, 3.88. Which means I had that was 6 minutes 15 seconds. I had the timer set to 7. I would leave the timer set to 7 in that case. I mean, you know, that's, I don't, you can certainly, obviously you can run your batteries down quite a bit below that. But I'm, you know, I don't like to run them down below the nominal, the 3.7 anyway. So I think what I've got the battery set to there, the 7 minutes with the 2200, is pretty reasonable for this guy.